Hello everyone, welcome to my segment, Move Back to Nigeria, where we profile people who've moved back and the stories and what they've done. So today I have Abigail Onyinyechi, and she's a UN attorney. She's also a journalist, has worked with CNN, Al Jazeera, and BBC. So I'm just so excited to have you here.
Thank you so much, Iveoma. Thank you. Yes, my name is Abigail Onyinyechi Nwaohuocha. My friends, everyone knows me as Oni. In terms of my background, as Iveoma has said, I'm a journalist. I'm also a lawyer. I'm from New York City, and I am currently in Lagos, Nigeria.
And that's why I love talking to Uni right here, because she literally, I feel like our lives are quite parallel. Like, first of all, there's not that many Americans here.
No.
So I was like surprised.
Much, yeah.
There's really not that many. And then like she's a lawyer, she's a journalist. I just loved, and when I first met her, I was like, I heard your voice before. Remember, I said, it was really creepy. I said, girl, I know your voice. She's like, I don't know. I was like, wait a minute, I know your voice. And then she said she's the producer behind CNN African Voices. And I always listen to those stories. I was like, that's where I know your voice from. So, so what made you move to Nigeria?
So I moved to Nigeria actually for work. So I just finished grad school. I graduated from Columbia School of Journalism, Master's in Journalism.
What year?
This is 2016.
Okay.
And I came to Nigeria. I did a fellowship with Bloomberg News.
Wow.
Yeah, so I did that it was like a 3-month fellowship. This was like middle of 2016. Mm-hmm. And I was like summer, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna use this to gauge if I can even do this.
Yeah.
And after I did the internship, I went back home to the States, and I was like, you know what? I think I can do this. I just didn't necessarily I didn't want to do necessarily commodities news. And then opportunity with CNN came up to field produce out of Lagos. And I was like, of course I'll do it. Because I had an intern with them while I was in Columbia.
Okay.
Because we have an internship program at Columbia University. So I had an intern with them, the Atlanta office, which is CNN International. And they have an Africa unit that does a lot of the Africa programs like African Startup, Inside Africa, African Voices, Marketplace Africa. If you're familiar with CNN Africa, those are some of the popular programs that they air on the continent. So they're like, hey, Oni, we need a field producer. This is like my former supervisor. And I was like, sure. So by the end of the year, I moved to Nigeria.
Wow.
And I was field producing, for CNN.
Did you feel called to come here though, or was it just a job opportunity?
Funny you say that. I felt like it was both, right? So I knew when I went to grad school and I was going to do the journalism thing, I was like, I'm not interested in like reporting about kittens in a tree necessarily. I didn't want to do US based news at the time. I knew I wanted to do African storytelling. And then I also wanted to work and live in Nigeria as an adult, make my own contacts and not have any kind of only reliance on my parents' resources. So it was like a win-win. I've always been to African countries. I see myself as a Pan-African. So when the opportunity came, I was like, this is perfect. I get to go back home to Nigeria and I do the storytelling that I want to do. Yeah. So.
What kind of storytelling do you wish you saw more in Nigeria? About Nigeria, actually.
Iveoma trying to get me.
No, I'm curious.
It's so funny. It's funny you say that because I actually wish there was more of a balance in Nigeria. I feel like Nigeria has too much of the Africa Rising. Where it's like, this is the first of its own in this. This is
shiny
the first
news.
of its, It's a lot of, I think currently there are more stories that are relatable to the West. So stories in which if a Western eye can understand it, it will sell better.
Oh, okay.
And I actually think that we need more balanced stories where it's more of a comprehensive story, where it's more multifaceted. It doesn't necessarily need to be that you are the first, ballerina, something in which people would say, oh, that's interesting. It also doesn't necessarily need to be Boko Haram and strife and kidnapping.
Yeah.
But I think it can be more everyday stories where it's a bit more realistic for the everyday person.
Can you give an example?
Sure. I feel like it would be wonderful to hear a series on market women, like a podcast where we just find out who are these market women that run Nigeria. If the market is done, Nigeria doesn't run.
Yeah.
Like,
I love that.
Who are they? What made them? Is it a generational thing? Were their grandmothers selling? Where did they come from to Lagos, Balogun, or go to the different big markets throughout Nigeria and just hear their stories? That's cool. I think that is also relatable. And it can be via podcast or even a radio series, as opposed to kind of like the flashy, arts that we tend to see on TV that get the international attention, or something that's horrific, like war and murder, kidnapping, that also gets international attention. So I think it'd be nice to get more stories that people here can also relate, as well as abroad can find it interesting. Yeah.
So I also liked how you came back with a job, and you're a big proponent. I met Ony at a returnees event, and she was telling me, like, girl, don't burn no bridges in the West. She's a big proponent of building here and still keeping your connections overseas. So why do you believe so strongly in that?
As a Nigerian American, I don't believe that you have to give up one for the other. Mm-hmm. And I feel like people that have done it, it doesn't necessarily always work out, because this is who you are. You're not fully Nigerian, and at the same time, you're in America, but you understand that your upbringing and your roots provides you an opportunity that some don't have.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I feel like for me, the reason why I said I'm going to, live my truth in both worlds is because that's my identity. The other reason too is, as a lawyer, I was not about to just throw away my law practice. I still have, my active license. I was like, I know that in the future one day, I will still explore different career paths, And I also felt like, for me, I grew up in New York. My home is in New York. My base is in New York. My parents, my family, they're throughout the U.S. So I actually could not even cut it off if I wanted to. Yeah. Because that's my roots. If I say home, that is actually home, which is a funny thing.
Really? Yeah. It's not here?
Nigeria is home, but when I'm in Nigeria and I'm referring to home, it's actually where my family is.
Okay.
Which
home
is
where the family is.
Yeah. Currently, I'm not married. By the way.
Any eligible men out there?
No. I'm not. It's not a promotion. I mean, that's
you
how
never
I said
know.
it.
You never know. Your man could be watching.
I mean, that's how I said it. But I'm saying, like, I think maybe once you're married as well, if
that's
you
true.
choose to,
things are different.
It might shift where you identify as home. There are opportunities in both places for us. And I feel like, because the world is so global now, especially with COVID and how things have afforded people remote work, you can be here and still earning, income from the States, or you can even be in the States and be able to provide expertise for people here. So I don't really see a reason why you need to completely cut off ties.
Like, what have you learned about yourself since moving back?
Ooh. That's an interesting question. I think I learned that I'm very resilient.
Yes, I like that word.
Yeah. I definitely feel like Nigeria will teach you who you are, because you're really starting from afresh. I think in my situation, it allowed me to really understand my identity and understand, wow, you're not really a Nigerian. you might think you are, but it wasn't until I came to Nigeria and I was living here that I was like, okay, so these are the customs of Nigerians. It's very different from even how I was brought up. And then also, in terms of being Igbo, that also was made even more clearer in Nigeria because currently my experience majority has been in Lagos. Lagos is not Nigeria. It's just one of one of the states in Nigeria. So even a Lagosian lifestyle is quite different from, you know, if I was based in Enugu or even Aba, or, you know, it's just going to be a different experience. So I think in the U.S., my understanding of Nigerian is probably through the prism of an Igbo woman. But when I came to Nigeria, I had a more national understanding of a Nigerian. Because being in Lagos, you meet so many different types of people, and then you're realizing, okay, you know, Nigeria is very multifaceted in terms of culture. So my understanding has been a bit limited just because I'm understanding Nigeria through my parents. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So I think Nigeria has taught me resiliency. Has also taught me a better understanding of more holistic understanding of what a Nigerian identity is, that it is still very diverse. And then also, it's also taught me hope, because there's always this saying in Nigeria, it's as well.
I literally just that's it. It is well.
Because that's all at the end of the day. It really is well. Because like when you look at everything, you're just like, you sigh and you say, okay, another day I'll try. So it's taught me kind of like to pace yourself and to just try again.
Oh my gosh, I love that you said that. Like, I feel like that has been a lesson for me too. Like, things may disappoint you or things may happen, but you have to continue to try. And so it's like, take a break for now, but when you wake up tomorrow, you have to try. And that is like Nigerian resilience. That is like the spirit of the country. Is when, because if you don't and you just be broken, like, this ain't the country. This is not the country for you.
This ain't the country for you.
This is not the country for you.
No.
It would be a big problem. And
a
so,
huge one.
like, I think that's why Nigerians do try really hard to manage their stress so they can live a little bit longer and see the following day. And there's something about that. I call it like Nigerian hope, because it's different here. Because there's like the way that Nigerians hold on to hope, it's so powerful.
Very.
Like, even me, when I have an issue, I'm like, okay, who can I? Because I need somebody who has strength. Right? Like, it teaches you to be strong and to hold. You have to hold on to hope like this. Like, nobody can take it away from you.
No.
Or you will be finished.
You will be finished. You will be finished. Definitely. You said it beautifully. That hope is definitely key, I think, in, you know, just the survival in Nigeria, because you definitely will be disappointed almost every day.
I know. Something does seem to happen every day.
Every single day. And part of it is, you know, just dealing with so many people. We're the most populated Black nation in the world. And you really see it in the traffic, but also in just interacting with people. There's so many things that just, you know, people are dealing with on a daily basis, which will affect you and your expectations. So the hope is good. It's a good practice in life, because it keeps you uplifted, and it also keeps you resilient.
I love that. So you have had a very interesting move back, because you've mostly worked in companies, and you haven't just worked in small corporations, worked in gigantic corporations. And so how has that been, like, working in corporate Nigeria here? Because I'm always curious about you people with steady jobs and salaries, but you're still working in a very big organization. So how has that been? Like, what's the big difference between this and in the U.S.?
There are many differences. How has it been in terms of, okay, I'll give an
work
example. Work culture. Okay, I see
that's the question I should have asked. Sorry.
No, it's totally fine. I think
wow.
The The Nigerian work culture is interesting.
Why?
I've seen the work culture to one be non-existent, and then I've seen the work culture to also be extreme, where it's like, okay, you really need to implement work-life balance or you're gonna crash. I think one of the challenges maybe for a returnee being in a Nigerian system would probably be, you know, sometimes there's a pushback against diasporans who have come. And I
Can you
think,
explain?
Yeah, sure. I think it's just a matter of like, sometimes there's a fearful aspect to the Nigerians that you meet, native Nigerians that you'll meet when you return, especially if you're in an office setting, because maybe they're thinking of you like, okay, why are you here? Or
You're here to take my job?
you can say that, but it's also maybe, you know, what are you going to teach me that I don't already know as well? So I think there's kind of that apprehension at first, but with time, hopefully they'll see that, hey, there's not an alternative motive and I really want to learn as well. And I think people kind of like relax and they open up a bit more to you.
When they know that you've come here and you are open to them, and receiving information from them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And also that you show some humbleness, and also that, you know, you give them that reverence to kind of teach you. I think they appreciate that.
Oh, I love that.
But at the same time, it can be difficult because you will get some pushback. You may even get some jealousy. You'll get things that you're not necessarily looking for. Also, there's a hierarchy in Nigeria that we are not used to in the States. Things like yes ma, yes sir. People including culture into the workforce. Some people prostrating or bowing when they greet a supervisor. You know, things that might be like, oh, this is different. Calling someone by their first name might be different, where people might go by Mrs. or Mr. or, you know, sa or ma. So those are also some differences depending on where you work that you may have to get used to, or that you don't do, and then they have to respect that. And also, I think in the U.S., we really do have a respect for ideas and the autonomy of the individual despite the age. Nigeria is still quite a country where age is seen with wisdom.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily always the case, because you might be, you know, a bit out of, you know, what's current, and maybe a younger person can teach you.
But they're not even open to learning.
Sometimes they may not be, but I think it's also maybe you now have to be a little bit more creative in showing that it's not really a disrespect thing. You just want to help teams. So there's so many different things I've noticed. Also, even with teamwork, I feel like here I've observed more kind of people working in silo. And
What do you mean by silo?
so like individual, you know, taking it upon yourself and working as an individual versus kind of like that understanding of team effort that, you know, we promote a bit more in the States, where it's like, you know, the dreaded group project, but everyone's gonna put in their weight. But here, sometimes it can, I have seen where people, I guess they're just kind of used to doing it on their own. It's like, I can trust myself, let me handle it. So that's another thing that I've observed. But again, it's a matter of, you know, showing that you're there to help. So those are some of the differences in the corporate work structure. I think people that do come back and they're doing their own thing, you're not going to really be dealing with that because you have more control of your surrounding.
Yeah.
You know, but if you are working in a system, then these may be some things that you may experience. So it's just a matter of you, you know, trying to be creative in how you navigate it and not taking things too personal.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, hopefully.
So, but what is your advice then for people who want to come back and they want to come back with a job, which is actually an amazing thing. Like, it's actually quite brilliant that you did that. Who want to come back with a job and they want to just get an insight into the work culture?
I think if you want to come back with a job per se in a structured organization, there's few sacrifices you'll have to make. Sometimes the job might not pay in hard currency, maybe like in pounds or dollars. It might be in naira. So that's something that you might also have to consider. I think also you can really network prior to coming here, utilizing your contacts, LinkedIn, utilizing some of the Nigerian job search engines to look for these kind of roles that you might actually match your skill set with. Another thing too is that you might find it difficult to find job openings from abroad. So it may be worth you coming a few times and checking out the scene and talking to people and really navigating and seeing what kind of companies are out there and where would I even want to work. But really, I think for the diasporan, creating your job, I feel like is always an excellent idea. When I first came to Nigeria, I kind of created my job. My field work with CNN was just myself and the office in Atlanta. I wasn't working in a Nigerian office. My bosses were in Atlanta.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I was freelancing as a producer,
That's
so I was
amazing.
working directly with them. From there, I now shifted into the BBC, and that was now a structured company. And it was BBC, which had opened an office here in Nigeria, in Ikoyi, Lagos. And then from there, now I'm with the United Nations, which is, again, a structured organization.
Very structured.
Yeah. And then, of course, I had a job before that, but that was back in the States. And in between BBC and UN was Al Jazeera back in DC. So I feel like the Nigeria context, if you can create your own opportunity, which most diasporans do, that's great because you have more autonomy over your time.
Yeah.
You have more control. And also you're able to really push yourself at the pace you're used to. Some of the challenges of working in the structured system is that there are a lot of red tape, hurdles and kind of bureaucracies sometimes that might slow your pace as a returnee. So I don't knock people who come as an entrepreneur and do their own thing. If you want to come through a system and work with an organization, look for organizations abroad that have companies or branches here in Nigeria.
I like that.
And there's so many. You have, for example, Twitter. They're seeking people in Ghana. There are companies now who are trying to come into West Africa. Even if they're not in Nigeria, they may be in a surrounding country and you can be able to come in. Or even an organization that focuses on Nigeria as a topic, and from there, you will probably have an opportunity to travel to Nigeria through your work. So I feel like you just have to be creative in the job search.
Yeah. I like that you gave those options. That was really creative.
Thank you.
Yeah. So is there anything else you would like to say?
Just be open to things shifting. And also, I would say, be true to yourself. Be true to who you really are. There's a lot of facade out here. You'll see. But I think if you're true to yourself, you're going to stay on course, And it's okay if you come and you're like, I'm good. Thank you. Be blessed. That is fine.
Yeah.
Don't feel like guilt if you come and it's not for you. Because I do find people who do come to Nigeria, stay some years, and they're like, you know what, I'm good. Some people stay some months. Like, it's okay if you don't want to do this, that's fine.
Yeah,
that
give
doesn't
yourself
make you
grace.
Give yourself grace. Doesn't make you less of a Nigerian.
Yeah.
And I think also, I would also say that I'm trying to.
What are you trying to say, Abigail? You have to think like this.
No, I just want to say, just be open that if Nigeria is not for you, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. It's not for everyone. It really isn't. And that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I love that. This is really great advice. I love that she said stay open, stay flexible. And Nigeria may not be for you, but that's okay, right?
It's okay.
Yeah, because some people feel true guilt that they can't make it here.
Yeah.
I've noticed that, some returnees. So it's interesting. Thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you, Iveoma, for doing this. I'm gonna interview. I'm gonna go into the journalism mode and say a few things about Iveoma. First of all, it's really great that you took the initiative to come out to Nigeria. As a practicing lawyer, you're saying, you know what, I want to highlight people, and you're doing it. And, you know, you're going to look back and be so happy that you did this. No matter what the outcome is, you've given people opportunities to relate. And you don't know who watches this. It really shapes their, you know, their plan. And it can really encourage someone to go out and really change their community. So I'm happy that you're answering the call.
Oh, that was so sweet.
You're welcome.
I love you so much. I actually love Abigail. I'm not even lying. But thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment below. What did you learn from this episode? Thank you so much. Bye now.
Bye-bye. Take care.